What is good, guys? Lim Kerman's back again, and we got a special video today. This is my first character build video, and it's the first time I've made this, and it's the Frost Nova Sorceress. It's not just the Frost Nova Sorceress, it's the max block Frost Nova Sorceress. Never made a max block Sorc, never made a Frost Nova Sorc. They're terrible in LOD, but the amazing thing about PD2 is that they're rearranging skill trees, item stats, stuff like that, and they develop all these new character builds. So even after all this time, I can still do something new and be entertained. It's a great AoE build, so maps, CS, bail running, all the shit that I do. And we're gonna dive into it, and I'll show you my stats, my skills, and all my gear. And let me know what you think of this build, or what's the newest build that you've tried. This is crazy for me, and I love it. I think it's my favorite build so far. So remember to like the video, subscribe, smash that like button, and follow me on Twitch, link in the description. Have a good one, guys. Okay guys, let's jump into the gear now. So I have a lot of gear that gives dex and strength because you need a lot of dex and strength for this build. So let's start off with the weapon. You got the Hodo, 3 to skills, 30 cast rate. They brought it down from 40, 10 dex, 15% maximum mana, which is huge because this character bleeds mana like crazy, and 24 all res. So it's about a mid-roll. Really nice weapon. You could probably get Death's Fathom if you don't want all these other things and want to go more damage, but this is what I went with. Next we have 3 peace towels. So we have the amulet, life mana, light res, and 2 to all skills. Really important. Like I said, you don't get many points for vitality and energy, so anything with life and mana is super helpful. Tal armor, I threw an Umrune in there. Pretty nice res. I got a crap poison res corrupt and a crap 62% magic find roll, so not the greatest, but lots of res, lots of defense, and the cast rate from the synergy. Belt, of course, Tal's belt, 20 dex, which is huge. Bit of mana, 14% mana regen, which is pretty nice because I need all the regen I can get, so I'm not too displeased with that corrupt. And a bit of magic find, cast rate, etc. Now for my gloves, I find these gloves pretty godly, to be honest. I double upped some blood fists, and I got 5% increased chance of blocking corrupt on them. So to me, these are godly. These are the best gloves you can use. 30 FHR as well, which you don't really get from any other items, and 40 life, which you couldn't complain about. For the boots, we have water walks, 40% faster run walk. They added 20% faster block rate in PD2, which is fantastic. 15 dex, 45 life, anti-perfect, but until I find another pair. Fire res, corrupt, which isn't bad. I mean, it's fire or light res, you can't really complain about, so that's okay. We have a Raven Frost, which is pretty mandatory for a max block character. Cannot be frozen seems to be the thing in PD2, so went with that. 40 mana, 18 dex, pretty nice roll, nothing too crazy there. This ring I actually found, I was like, wow, that's got some nice stats. 20 strength and 7 dex, that's huge for what I need. And 8 magic find, 6 cold res, not that crazy, but I was like, if I can roll 10 FCR on this, then I'll keep it. If not, it's pretty worthless, and luckily enough I rolled it, so that's a very nice find. I'm happy with that. I'm using Storm Shield, which is kind of controversial. A lot of people use Winston's or Moser's because you only need like 100 strength, whereas Storm Shields you need 156, which is quite a lot when you already have to sacrifice so many points into dex already. So luckily enough, again, I got a nice 14% fast hit recovery corrupt on it. Lots of block, 26 strength, which is kind of useless at this point because you don't need strength anymore. Lots of res, put a Umrune in there again. And the big thing for me is physical damage taken reduced by 24%. I telestomp huge groups all the time, which when it's Doom Knights, Moon Lords, stuff like that, you need physical reduction, or else if you do get hit, you can get slammed. And finally the circlet, which is kind of the thing that made this character, started it all off. I gambled this in Act 4 a couple weeks ago. 2 Sorc skills, 20 faster cast rate, 18 dex, which is crazy, 32 life, which is very nice, and then I slammed it for 2 open sockets, and I threw 2 unrunes in there for 30 res. So very well rounded. I would be much happier if it was 2 to sorceress skills, but it is what it is. And now for the GCs, I have a nice cold lifer, and the rest of them are just random cold skills. And then I have 2 mana charms. Not that crazy for stats. If you can get high mana and high life, I find these pretty essential, or pretty useful at the very least. And then random other charms, life, magic find, res, mana, hit recovery, so I can hit all those breakpoints. That's pretty much that. 2 bow, CTA with a 1 skill, Lilith. So as you can see, there's clearly room for improvement still. Let's go to the Merc. We have an FCV Insight, because like I said, I bleed mana, so this is incredibly helpful, 14 med. So other than that, the stats don't really matter that much. Andy's Helm with a 30 ED jewel I threw in there. Pretty standard mercenary helm. This is what I find to be a very underrated armor. They buffed it a little bit in PD2, so it's even more useful, but it's basically a mini fortitude. This actually wouldn't be horrible to use on your max block character if you can't afford Tal armor or Chains of Honor. So 98 enhanced damage, 20 strength, 14 dex, 14 vitality, 10 energy, 50 life, 26 all res. Very nice. And then 3-piece IK. So as for the stats, I have 46 strength from my gear and 88 dex. So 75 block. Everything else is put into vitality. As we stand here without bow, 929 life and 535 mana, which is pretty crazy. And for the finer details, we have 80 cast rate, so I hit that 60 FCR breakpoint, and 64 FHR, so I hit that 63 breakpoint, which is nice. And then 128 magic find, which is nice to have, because I'm doing mostly maps, Chaos Sanctuary, Veil, stuff like that. So as for the skills, this is going to be pretty standard, but we need to talk about one thing, and it's the major reason why this is viable now. So in Lord of Destruction, Frost Nova had 10% cold damage from Frozen Orb and 10% cold damage from Blizzard. Now they've changed that to 16 and 16 with Ice Bolt and Shiv Armor. So I don't even need to put any points into anything down here, which is very nice. So I put max points into Frost Nova, max points into Ice Bolt and Shiver Armor for its 2 synergies, and then max points into Cold Mastery, which is now cold damage instead of minus enemy cold resistance. So as far as a stat goes, instead of just, you know, it being out there imaginary, you actually add damage straight to the skill. 1 point into everything in the lightning category, so I only use static, teleport, and energy shield, then everything else into warmth. So let's give it a little run now. Let our bow go. Get our bow going. So Shiver Armor, energy shield. Pretty low chance. Oh, that's fallen, so I must have been in Act 1 before this. 75 block. And that energy shield is helpful when you're telestomping, because obviously you're a bit more tankier, but it depletes your mana even more so. So normally I would kill all this, but just for the sake of the video so we can demonstrate the effectiveness. Pop these seals. And just stomp and spray. And you're good. Oh, I need some mana. Whenever there's cold immunes too, I'll just jump them and static, and then my mercenary does the rest. Luckily, he does a lot of damage. There's a lot of debate about, you know, Act 5 mercenaries because they're super viable now in PD2. But I'm happy with this. I really need the insight, so that was pretty quick in and of itself. Now we'll move on to Diablo, and this is the kind of weak point of this kind of character. So there's lots of AoE, so it's good for maps. But as far as bosses go, it's pretty slow. So apparently static, stomp, and then just Frost Nova until he's dead. And he absolutely ate my mercenary alive. And Amy, Talami, Vidalis. Okay, so fail, but that's basically the max block Frost Nova sorceress. So this is my favorite character that I've made. I think it's amazing. It can do maps, it can clear everything very easily. Super tanky. Let me know what you guys think. What's your favorite character that you found out about, or a new build that's now viable in PD2? Smash the like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, link in the description. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.